Good morning, dear students. My name is Toshkent. I am a teacher at the Department of General Professional Sciences in Toshkent Institute of Irrigation and Agriculture Mechanization Engineering Buxoro branch. Today we will study the topic of groundwater regime in the engineering, geology and hydrology, and also it includes four plans. First plan is the general concept, second is views and types of groundwater regimes, third factors that change regime of the groundwater, and the last plan is about the task of groundwater regime monitoring. What is it groundwater and what it is used for? Groundwater is the water present beneath Earth's surface in soil pore space and in the fractures of rock formation. A unit of rock or an consolidated deposit, it is called an aquifer when it can yield a usual quantity of water. Groundwater is often recharged from the surface by river and rain, and also it may be charged from the surface naturally at the springs, and it can form oases or wetlands. Groundwater is also often used for agriculture, municipal and industrial use by constructing and operating extraction wells. You can see this presentation about what is the earth water. First count about total global water. Fresh water consists of 2.5% only. Another saline 0.9 and major amount of oceans water consists of 6.5%. Fresh water also compares form three parts. First part is minor amount surface and other fresh water consists of 1.2%. Groundwater is also 30.1%, and glaciers and ice caps consists of large amount 68.7%. You can see last count about surface and other fresh water, atmospheres, lakes, groundwater, ground ices, and permafrost. It looks like ices. And aquifers and underground water bearing permeable rock fractures, and unconsolidated materials such as gravel, sand, or silt. Groundwater can be extracted using a water well. You can see this picture. It is water level, it is unsaturated zone, and it is tree vegetation period, the transpiration water, and also you can see the stream. You can see this river. The change in groundwater level, temperature, chemical composition, and mineralization level over the time is commonly referred to as the groundwater regime. You can see this table. Groundwater changes over the period of time. There are time. There you can see these groundwater levels. Among the elements that characterize the regime of groundwater, the most rapidly changing are its level and temperature. Annual, seasonal, and even daily changes in water levels in groundwater, just as in the surface water observed. You can see this picture where the groundwater is located over the world, higher and lower. Second plan is about types and types of groundwater regime. There are three types. First type is daily regime, second seasonal regime, and the last multi-year regime. Multi-year is many years. The daily regime shows the change in subsurface of water near the surface due to evaporation and transpiration. During the day we can state by evaporation by trees. The amplitude of the change can be more than 10-15 centimeters. The seasonal region is associated with rhythmic changes in meteorological factors such as temperature, precipitation, and evaporation, and also river water consumption in different seasons. The amplitude of seasonal changes in the groundwater table varies from a few centimeters, like desert areas with deep groundwater, to 10-15 meters of foothills, and the last region is many years, multi-year, can be followed for a period of 10, 15 and more. This region has been associated for many years with rhythmic changes in precipitation, evaporation, river and other such as lakes, oceans, consumption and the influence of the economic factors. It is human factors. Yes, we can use groundwater large amounts every day for our needs. Third point is about factors that change the regime of groundwater. Hydrological factors, it is surface water flows and basins. Climate factors, atmospheric precipitation, temperature and atmospheric pressure and others. Geological factors, geological process of soil and rock, lithological composition of the rocks, and one factors in biological factors, it is transpiration. And the last human factors, we can see artificial factors, use of groundwater for water supply and other purpose as aims for our industry, our needs, our agriculture, our irrigation, and also. The following are some of natural factors that influence groundwater regime: geological, geomorphological, tectonical conditions, climatic, and surface water. You can see the natural factors that affect subsurface water regions. Geological conditions of the area, conditions of aquifer, lithological compositions, thickness. Second, geomorphological structure of the Earth's surface, altitude, slope. Third, tectonical conditions, presence of cracks, fractures, rocks, lands. And fourth, climate conditions, we know precipitation, atmosphere pressure, temperature, humidity, and others. And the last, availability of surface water bodies, lakes, rivers, lakes, and oceans. It is, for example, a major factors of influence groundwater region, it is human. Human factors, there you can see reservoirs, rivers, groundwater follow direction each built without consideration of what buildings and structures. Yes, we can build dams, water reservoirs, rivers, channels, and others. Also, we can excavate of channels and water supply to them for irrigation. Changes in the natural structure of underground, irrigation of arable lands, balance of irrigation region, and the last, groundwater balance region without taking them into account unplanned use. Yes, it is true. We can use underground water without plan and without taking them into account for our needs. Fourth plan is the task of region monitoring. What is it? It is to study the laws of seasonal and multi-year change in the groundwater in the main hydrogeological areas to predict, it is foresee, changes in groundwater, to monitor the reclamation of irrigated lands, irrigation and drainage monitoring, of impact of drainage system, determination of hydrogeological indicators, and calculation of water self balance of irrigation methods, and evaluation of effectiveness of reclamation measures. It is also meets our agriculture sphere. For example, we can know water balance, water self balance. We must know how underground water is located. The reasons for studying these issues is that changes in groundwater level, chemical composition, water supply conditions in different plants, areas, reclamation and irrigation, geological conditions have a decisive impact. For example, excessive groundwater levels can lead to salinization, swamping and flooding of foundation. You can see this picture. Special observation wells will be built to study the underground region due to changes in the ground temperature and chemical composition are referred, and changes occur simultaneously and measurements are carried out simultaneously. Groundwater level is a special level is carried out using measuring instruments to study the chemical composition of sample of groundwater, temperature of, and also analysis. Chemical composition of groundwater is determined by the interaction of between water and rocks. Their mineralization different from 100 and 150 milligram per liter to few 10 gram per liter, according to Professor Verdanski, V.I. The degree of mineralization are what it can be as follows. The amount of dissolved mineral salts in pure water is less than 1 gram per liter. Average amount of dissolved salt from 1 to 10 gram per liter. And saline water dissolved mineral salts more than 10 gram per liter. It is unfitted for drinking. The chemical composition and mineralization of subsurface water has been studied by surface water. This connection becomes more noticeable on the surface on which they are located. Groundwater. Groundwater, there are two sides. First, advantage side and disadvantage sides. Disadvantage sides is we can use groundwater for population, additional water resource, industry, agriculture, and for livestock. And also there are some negative sides. We know this large use amount energy and landing, mineralization, not everywhere. And also we must clean the groundwater for drinking. Thank you for your attention, dear students. Our lesson is over.